Hello there, people of YouTube, and welcome back to the Spikehead podcast for another movie review, where today I'll be looking at Disney's apparently underrated animated classic, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Directed by Gary Trousdale and Kirk, and starring Michael J. Fox, Cree Summer, Jim Varney, and Leonard Nimoy. This film follows Milo Thatch, a linguist and cartographer who works at the Smithsonian Museum, who is obsessed with finding the lost city of Atlantis, though his bosses don't take too kindly to that. But lucky for him, his late grandfather had a friend who bet him that if he found the Shepherd's Journal, which is a book that allegedly leads the way to Atlantis, he would fund the expedition. As a result, Mr. Whitmore funds the expedition to Atlantis, and Milo, being the only person that can read Atlantean, is brought along for the ride with this colourful cast of characters, and they journey out to discover Atlantis. This film came out in 2001 against Shrek and underperformed to the point where Disney cancelled a series and made the entire sequel, just stitching 3 episodes of this planned series together. And can we just appreciate how gorgeous this film is? The shots in this are beautiful. There was this time period around then where things like Treasure Planet, Atlantis, El Dorado, all these animated films had this beautiful 2D crystal clear imagery, and the way the shots are composited together just gives you some amazing things to look at. If nothing else, this film deserves more recognition purely for the visuals, but I will say as well, the characters are what makes this film. There is a colourful cast of characters, and this film is way ahead of its time. This film had a diverse cast of characters from a diverse range of backgrounds, and I looked into the casting of this as well because I was wondering, is it a case of they've done these minority characters but cast a bunch of white people? But no, they have done amazingly well in this regard. Phil Morris plays Dr. Sweet, who is a half African, half Native American, and the actor is, of course, African-American. Don Novello, he plays Vinny, who is an Italian bombs expert, and Don is half Italian. And Jacqueline Obradors, she voices Audrey, a Puerto Rican teenager, which, funny enough, I cannot remember that part. I had no idea she's supposed to be a teenager in this film, so that kind of puts the Michelle Rodriguez dream casting out of the picture, though it would be great to see a live-action casting of this character. She is by far one of my favourites. But yeah, the actress, while she's not Puerto Rican per se, her family is from Argentina, so there is a diversity there as well. And I just think this film did a great job in the short time span. This is an hour-and-a-half long film, yet it gives you so much character development. You learn all about these characters. Apart from Mole, as Dr. Sweet said, we don't want to know. The rest all get characters, they get backstories, they get motives. It's so good how they managed to give you this big cast and then manage to make you care about each one of them. And there are some shocking twists along the way, but I do love, despite this being an hour-and-a-half film, it took its time. It didn't jump straight into Atlantis. It's about the halfway point of the film where we actually reach the lost city of Atlantis. The culture, the language of the design, the soundtrack, it all adds up really well. This was a big risk for Disney, and it didn't perform very well. This film said, right, we're not going to have any songs, we're going to make a more mature science fiction adventure film, and we're going to tailor it more towards a more mature audience. And that's kind of why I got a lot of flack. I've looked into it, and a lot of negative reviews were criticising the lack of music in this. But one of the makers of the film has even stated the fact there was no music allowed them to take time to develop these characters, which very much worked in this film's favour. And the effort put in behind this was astounding. As I've already mentioned, they created a whole language for this film, a whole text. The guy who created the Klingon language from Star Trek, he's the one that created the Atlantean language. And it's a gorgeous language they create for it. Apparently one of the letters actually is a map of Atlantis, if you actually look at it really closely. If I had to have some complaints about this film, it's too short. This could very easily have been a 2.5 hour film, and I would not have got bored by it. I really would not have. Even looking into this, the original script, by the end of Act 2, it was 2 hours long. That's how big the script was. They had to cut out so much stuff, and a lot of it did end up being character development stuff. So while we do get a nice little campfire scene where you do find out about these characters, apparently there was a lot more to it. And the midway point to the end, it fast forwards through a lot of plot points quite quickly. I will say the Kida and Milo relationship doesn't feel as built as it could have been on reflection, though with more time, I can very much buy that they do fall for each other in the end. I would love to do a dream casting of this. If it gets announced, I'm doing a dream casting of this because this film has just aged so well and it has got its cult following because the kids that grew up with it have now reached the age where the film was supposed to aim. So all the parents taking the kids to Disney films that spit in songs to distract the kids, they were disappointed. And as kids, we enjoyed it, but we didn't know why. And watching that in reflection, we can see very much why we do enjoy the film now. It's also worth mentioning that this was Jim Varney's last vocal performance ever. Well, technically it was the video game that was released to tie into this film. But in terms of his last voice performance in an animated film, this was his last go-around. He actually died before they finished recording. There's one line where they had to get another actor in. And I didn't notice when I was watching it. And it's a shame that this film is so underappreciated because there was just so much to love in this film. The art style, the characters, the diversity, the story, the simplisticness of it. The amount of stuff they managed to cram into this hour-and-a-half film is truly something to behold. If only this was like a longer film and it had a few more scenes added in there for character development, I could have literally watched this film for another hour without getting bored of it. So overall, guys, I'm going to say that Atlantis, The Lost Empire, is a good cup of tea. So Atlantis, have you all seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you do enjoy what I do on this channel, then please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification, as well as dropping a like. It would really help this channel a lot. And until next time, guys, this is that Spiked Hair Podcast, signing off. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more views coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.